Good evening, San Diego. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. A whole lot of heat still in the forecast. This is going to take us all the way into the start of the weekend. Now, we had milder conditions that were still right along the coast. The marine influence right there, the marine layer pushing in, also the cooler breeze with a sea breeze developing, and it had the 70s. We had 77 degrees for downtown. We had 73 degrees for Del Mar. We had widespread 80s, 90s, and triple digits across the inland areas. So we were still locked into some 80s. We saw that for Vista as well as for La Mesa. But then you get into that hotter territory where you're seeing those deeper reds as well as the fuchsia color. So 103 was the high today for Julian, also talking about the 90s for Ramona as well as for Mount Laguna. You had 119 degrees today for Borrego Springs. These are hot temperatures and also records. We are tied the record today, so we're talking about the records because we tied the record today for Palomar Mountain, and that was at 97 degrees. Broke the record by 1 degree for both Borrego Springs as well as for Campo, where that previous record stood. But let's just go ahead and talk about shattering all records. That was for Palm Springs. The high today of 124 was not just a new record set for just today. That was back in 1931, so a long time ago. But you're also talking about the all-time hottest temperature ever recorded in Palm Springs at that 124 mark. Previously, it was at 123. A lot of heat across the Southwest, and we will continue to be monitoring it, as well as fire weather concerns. So the weather impact is the hot highs combined with the dry air, because we have this area of high pressure, and we've already seen some brush fires breaking out across the state and also our county. We are still looking at those concerns into next week. Hot highs between 90 to 121 will continue all the way into next week. And then also talking about those elevated fire weather concerns at least through Thursday, because more heat is anticipated by next week. We back off only slightly by the second half of the weekend, but then we gear up for a lot more of it by next week. It's not expected to be as hot as it was at least earlier today or even for tomorrow, but still you're talking about some 90s and being above seasonal with those temperatures. We're not the only ones dealing with it. You're looking at heat across the West. All these alerts are related to either temperatures, hot temperatures like the fuchsia colors, the orange colors, those are heat advisories. Also excessive heat warnings that puts you into the 90s and triple digits, but also the red that we're seeing, the bright red, those are brush fire warnings. And so we do have conditions out there that stretch all the way to Pacific Northwest with this ridge of high pressure when looking at elevated fire weather concerns, and we still have some of those fires that are still continuing to burn here in our state. So the combination of the hot highs as well as fire weather concerns will take us all the way into the weekend. Zeroing in closer to home, we have the inland areas. We did issue a weather impact alert day for today because of the heat, and we're still looking at that for tomorrow. So that's for the inland valleys as well as the mountains. That will go all the way until 9 p.m. tomorrow night. You have those 90s, you have the triple digits, the hot highs you felt today, even more by tomorrow. Also still talking about the excessive heat warning across the desert. That goes all the way until Wednesday of next week. And we could actually see either a new advisory being issued or a continuation, because still dealing with the excessively hot temperatures across the desert by next week, even past that Wednesday. You're going to see that coming up in your extended forecast. If you're trying to beat the heat right along the coast, just keep in mind we still have the beach hazard statement. About 3 to 5 feet when it comes to that surf. So still elevated by tomorrow. It backs off by Sunday, about 2 to 4 feet. So that's when it will start to subside, and the presence of rip currents right along our coastline. There's that area of high pressure. So it does flatten out only slightly. And I say that because it's just a little bit of a nudge. That's because you have these two areas of low pressure that kind of back off a little bit more. And so that's why temperature, especially across the inland valleys, you go from the 90s back into the 80s, but we're still talking about the upper 80s. That will be into the start of next week, and then temperatures climb past that, because then you have yet another area of low pressure moving in from Canada. It allows this ridge to get a little bit more amplified, as well as this low that's going to be moving in, and that's moving away from Alaska. So we're still talking about heat into next week. We have the 70s that are going to stick around the coast through this weekend, and then you gradually see these temperatures climbing up into those low 80s by next week as that ridge becomes more amplified. So we're getting warmer for the coast by Tuesday, and we stay in that range all the way until Friday of next week. We still have the weather impact alert day for tomorrow for the inland valleys. That's because of highs around 96 degrees and more, and then coming down by about 10 degrees. That will be by Sunday as high pressure backs off just a little bit. You have those upper 80s across the inland valleys, but then temperatures get right back into those low 90s by the middle of next week. We're looking at the mountains. The mountains, triple-digit heat locked in for tomorrow. Slip in temperatures as high pressure backs off just a little bit. You have those low 90s returning for the mountains by Sunday, but then temperatures climbing yet again. 100 degrees by Wednesday of next week with that more amplified ridge. We could be looking at more heat alerts in the forecast. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. Also for the desert, you have that range about 115 to 121. That continues all the way into next week. And as I mentioned, it keeps going until about Wednesday when it comes to that excessive heat warning. That's all the way until 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. But when you look at highs past that, we could be seeing more of those heat alerts going into effect. And of course, we would keep you posted. And if you have the CBS 8 app, as soon as those are issued, you will immediately get it right there on your phone. Cannot stress this enough. Heat-related illnesses are the #1 heat-related or weather-related phenomenon that does unfortunately lead to death in our country. The #1. That is why we are stressing that you have to prepare, take care of yourself. Heat is definitely not something that you want to mess with over the next few months. We're going to continue to be monitoring this in the summer. Models are suggesting it's going to be a very hot summer in store for us. So just keeping things in the back of your mind, like staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water. Also, if you can use your AC, go ahead and do so. If you don't have AC at home, I know I've gotten quite a few of your comments. Please, we have a website, cbs8.com. You will find a story right there that has a list of cool zones that you can go to and also ways that you can beat the heat and keep yourself nice and cool and your loved ones as we go into this long stretch and, well, potentially even into the rest of our summer. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in.